Hello, and welcome back to Small Screen Stories. I am back, coming to you from, well, I'm on holiday actually, technically. So a bit of a different place. It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. Hopefully this works. So do let me know if you hear me properly and everything like this, because this is a new system that I'm using. It's my Nomad system. But yes, we're going to be talking about mainly the Suicide Squad today. James Gunn, what else? Peacemaker we'll talk a bit about. We won't go over spoilers of the Suicide Squad because I haven't seen the movie yet. But I do have someone that has seen the movie, and I'll bring him in a minute. But I just wanted to say hello to everyone in the chat. So hello to Sean Harrigan, who says, "Happy Friday, y'all." And hello to Bobby Anderson as well. He says, "Hi, everyone." And Kazax, who's in the chat as well, who says, "Cocainum." So, James isn't with us at the moment. So, and I'm already a bit all over the place with this new Nomad system. So I won't be using too many of those little, what are they called? Intermissions, interjections, whatever the hell James does, whatever you want to call them. There won't be that many tonight because it's all a bit of a mess, really, because no James, a bit of a mess. But let me bring in Clint. Here he is. How are you doing, Clint?
Hey! I'm doing great, man. How's your vacation or holiday?
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I just stopped it for a while to do this, to come and say hello, because you and James did a fabulous job on last week's show. And I'm telling you what, you probably are getting slight reverb, Bobby, because I'm in a room with barely anything in it. So that's probably why you're hearing reverb.
You're not sitting on a toilet, are you?
No, I'm not. I'm in the living room.
I was gonna say, if you are, you could turn around and use that tank as a dinner table. I do it all the time. Man.
No. No, but that's probably why you're hearing an echo, is because I'm in a big room with barely anything in it, just a table. But you're going to have to make do with that. I'm terribly sorry. Clint, you sound great. That's good.
Hey, thanks.
Man, go on. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm excited. I just got a new microphone in the mail today. This is a Sennheiser MKH 416. This is an excellent broadcast voiceover microphone. So and I'm very excited. It just came in, so I'm excited. So I had to tell the world. But yeah, they're great. They use them for ADR and films and stuff. And years ago, when I did an episode of House, I only had a couple of lines. But I remember I had to go back to do ADR, and I was like, I had 2 lines. But they just about anything you see in the movies, if it's at a mall or outside, or the boom mic that they have above. It doesn't pick. It's too much noise. So I think it's really funny to get a really dramatic acting scene, and then they got to go back and redo the voice for it. But that's just how it's done.
It happens a lot.
So, so ever since I did that, I've always wanted one of these, and it only took me 20 years to get one. So here we are.
I have this thing. I have a blue. It's called a snowball. I think.
Snowball.
I have it. It's okay. Here we go. This is sponsoring the channel. They're not, but it's called Blue. It's Blue microphones, and they're just USB mics. But I needed this is very inside baseball. I needed a small one because I was going on holiday for quite some time, and this is actually really good. So if you're looking for one, guys in the chat, I see Fatal J's in the chat, and I know you have a snowball mic.
And they're inexpensive too. They're really affordable.
Yeah,
the Yeti.
Yeah, and they really sound good.
Yeah, the Blue makes a Yeti.
It is. The one I usually use is a Yeti, but it's just too big to bring with me in a suitcase, so I had to bring this. But it's it's a new system. It's fun. It's actually quite refreshing. But it'd be nice to be in a more soundproof room. I'm going to be honest. Right, should we talk about the thing that we were going to be talking about? Because I know you've seen it, and I wanted to get your opinions on it without spoiling anything, because I do want to watch this without spoiling anything. I know it's going to be tough.
No, you mean I have to talk? I'm good at that. I'll try to do it without stuttering. Let's see here.
Oh God, don't go on about that. That's fine.
No, it was fantastic. I enjoyed it. there were
We're talking
times
about the
where,
Suicide Squad, by the way.
yes, we are talking about the Suicide Squad gang, and there's I saw it last night. I want to watch it again. It was great. The audience score on this is 89%. Rotten Tomatoes gives it a 93%. I think because this is a smart movie, the way James Gunn did this movie, the way he pieced it together, it takes you for a ride. It does a lot of things, and because I found, well, for one, I'm going to say I wish I hadn't seen the trailer. I wish I'd have not seen the trailer because the jokes would have landed better. There was a lot of the jokes in the trailer, and there was other funny stuff too. But you know, it's really awkward when John Cena makes a starfish joke, you know, makes a butthole joke in a theater full of people and nobody laughed because we already knew the punchline, you know what I mean? And so it was like, you know, everybody saw that in the trailer. So I was like, man, I wish they hadn't ruined that joke because the whole theater would have been laughing, you know? And there was a couple of those in the movie to where we're ready. I was ready to get to the next joke that wasn't in the theater, but there was action. It was bloody and gory and people dying that you wouldn't think are supposed to be dying, and just all kinds of crazy stuff. Like it was nuts. And it was fun. And there was a weird point in the movie. It was like a weird lull I felt in the movie. And then for a minute, I was like, I almost thought, do I like this movie? It's like after the tricks and fun and gore and all that, for a second, I'm like, do I like this movie? And then all of a sudden, there was a big climactic, fun, action-packed ending. And but there was one point in the movie where I started to turn, and I just kind of, you know, when a dog goes, you know, and I started to feel like that for just a second, and I go, wow, that's weird.
Just slow down a bit.
Yeah, for just a minute, and it's like, and I've been looking forward to this movie for a long time, you know what I mean? So I wanted to walk out of there like, yes, this is the best movie I've seen since before the you know, the apocalypse and all that, and there was a moment. It was really good. It wasn't as great as I thought it was going to be, but it was really good. But there was just a moment where I was like, oh man. And then I wasn't disappointed but for a minute, I think I was getting scared that I'm going to be disappointed in this thing I've been waiting for. But then they delivered the goods. And when I walked out of the theater at the end, and there was a way after the credits scene too. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure you watch all the way to the end. There's two. There's one right at the beginning of the credits, then one way at the end. So, but anyway, once I got to my car, I was thinking about. I even made a little self video that I was gonna maybe put on my channel. And I thought about it, and I said, "No, man, he took you for talking to myself. No, Clint, he took you for a ride. You know what I mean? Like he took." It hits the ground running. It's fun, and it can't just be like the whole time. So there was a little lull, and that is when they're setting you up for the home run at the end of the World Series. You know what I mean? And afterwards, I appreciated it. But it takes you for a journey. And there's some corny jokes, and then there's some heartfelt stuff too in there. So it's pretty neat. I really liked Taika Waititi being in this movie. I didn't even know he was in it, and he was awesome. Daniela, I don't know how to say her name. Melchior. She's the Ratcatcher 2. Is she the
one that plays Ratcatcher 2? Yeah,
Ratcatcher 2.
Really good, isn't it?
Yeah. She was fantastic in that movie. I look forward to seeing her in other things. She was really good. I mean, the whole cast was really good. Polka Dot Man, he was fantastic. The whole cast was great, you know, and it was good. I think James Gunn did a great job, and I can't wait to see what else he cranks out.
Well, this is the thing. So what I've heard mainly, I mean, if you look at all the reviews and not the bombing of the movie on Rotten Tomatoes, there's been a little bit of that, just a little bit. It's been a bit over exaggerated, I think, by lots of media outlets. To be honest, I think it's just a few people that are doing that. But most of the critics that have seen it really did enjoy it. That's the over kind of riding sentiment I got from reading the reviews of this film.
Yeah.
A lot of them said it was a lot of fun. It was bombastic. It's mad. It's very gory, quite bloody. A lot of jokes. People, and I've seen people in the comments saying that not all the jokes landed. Raj says I've not seen the Suicide Squad, but from what I've heard, jokes don't land. But a fun movie doesn't deserve the 90% rate on Rotten Tomatoes. Feels like I'm going to be let down by the Suicide Squad because it's been hyped so much. I mean, that might be a possibility for you, Raj, but not everybody's going to be in that boat. I think the impression I'm getting is that this is probably the best movie to come out of DC for quite some time. It's very different from everything else they did before, and I completely understand like people being relatively annoyed with this film in principle because of the whole David Ayer thing, and we will talk about David Ayer, I think, tonight at some point, because I wasn't on last week's episode where you got to talk about him at length. But his Suicide Squad film was not the film that was released, and people really want to see his version, and that's completely fine. And I actually support that. I think you do as well, Clint. And I just get the impression that what this film is kind of why the reason why people are so annoyed about it is mainly because James Gunn was given the freedom to do whatever the hell he wanted with this movie, whereas someone like David Ayer wasn't. And it's like the kind of double standards there of Warner Brothers.
And it's kind of like also he full on goes like a picture like, hey, South Park guys, go do whatever you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, Beavis and Butthead back in the old days. That's an old reference, but it's there's some dumb, stupid humor in this movie, and it's just what it is. And it's like, cool, I get to do whatever I want. Like, really? Okay, cool. And he does it, and he does there's a bunch of gory, bloody, dumb stuff, but it's hilarious. You know what I mean? And there's things that people didn't like. There was some animals things that some people didn't like, and I'm like,
Are there any baby jokes?
No, there's no dead baby jokes or anything like that, but it's still, there was some stuff with some birds. You'll know when you see it that a few people didn't like, but I'm like, whatever, dude. You're watching an R-rated movie, and that's also sometimes to villainize, to make the villains look meaner and make you not like them. You know what I mean? Not to make you hate the director. It's and we promise no birds were harmed in the making of this film. You know what I mean? They're all
CGI birds.
Yeah, it's so I mean, like, relax. There's somebody that I saw a review for it where they were like, they didn't like that at all, and I'm like, yeah, they're not real. Like, it's okay. If you're telling a story, then how do you make the bad guy look like a bad guy? Make him do some terrible stuff. Then you can't wait for the good guys to get rid of this guy or whatever, So anyway, if that's gonna bother you, if blood's gonna bother you, if dick and fart jokes are going to bother you, maybe you shouldn't see the movie, but you should know from the rating ahead of time what you're getting into. And, it's like, and then go watch Guardians of the Galaxy first and see what they're joking about, and then think about if it was worse,
But this is what this movie is. It is very much kind of James Gunn Unchained. He's completely they're letting him do whatever he wants in a comic book movie. And to be honest, I've been waiting for a long time to see something like this. It's just I completely understand why he chose that property. Like, it completely makes sense to me that he would go ahead and choose the Suicide Squad. But the issue was the film before. And and Raj puts it, he says he says very true, Ed. I'm not just bringing this up because he says very true, but he does say that's the reason I have a slight issue with watching the Suicide Squad. Nothing to do with James Gunn, but the the scumbags at Warner Brothers screwing up over Andy and Snyder. It's unfair, but a lot of people feel that way. I think a lot of people feel that it's unfair, and that's the problem here. But also, if you don't like this sort of, if you don't like James Gunn's sense of humor, then you're not going to like this movie. Yeah. Because I think his sense of humor is all over us, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's like, have you ever seen it's like watching Eastbound and Down or Orgasmo, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or Team America. It's that kind of shock
Is that kind of
humor.
dumb humor? Yeah,
Dumb
like
shock humor.
yeah,
Which sometimes is fun to watch a stupid movie, you know what I mean? And that's what this was,
yeah.
with heroic elements in it, you know what I mean? And so yeah, let's put a fun twist to comic book movies that's just fun and stupid and have a good time, you know what I mean? Don't take it too seriously. And that's what they did, you know. And
I do. Do you think people are taking comic book movies too seriously? Do you think that's the problem here?
well, I mean, get the impression. Think about the impression that the new Batman movie with gives you. That seems like it's going to be a super detective, serious drama.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? When I not with Battinson, you know what I mean? That's what I think when I see that. And I think it's nice that you have different kinds of movies. If you can make the universes merge together in a way that doesn't cause a train wreck, then even better. You know what I mean? But I think it's kind of nice to be able to go watch Deadpool, and then turn
yeah,
around and watch something a lot more serious and sci-fi like Man of Steel. You know what I mean? And it's
yeah.
like I know those are two different universes, but I think that's nice. And
They're in
like,
the same genre. They're in the same genre.
yeah, it's the same genre. And it's cool to have something like that, and then to have something that's more of a heartwarming film, but it's also comic book related, and then have something that is ridiculous. I want to see a good horror take on something, and I've heard.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange 2. Yeah,
so
fingers crossed. Doctor Strange 2 is going to be that.
Yeah, and then you have like the espionage kind of comic book movie, secret agents and stuff, and that's cool. We get a little taste of that, and a little taste of this, and you got a buddy cop show with superheroes. You know what I mean? It's like the Lethal Weapon of superheroes. You know what I mean? So it's like they're giving you I'm talking about Falcon and Winter Soldier. You know what I mean? That's kind of what they're going for.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's cool to get a different flavor. And then when you see the two universes collide, it's cool. I think it's neat. And like Ant-Man has a completely different vibe than Captain America, Winter Soldier or something like that. You know what I mean? But they can still be on screen and do a movie together, and it works. You know what I mean? And I think that's cool that we could get that. You can have a movie that has different heroes and it still makes sense, and it's not weird. That's one thing I've been wondering is how they're going to pull Deadpool into the MCU. I know they already did the that Free Guy promo. Did you see that? Yeah, some people are saying
Korg.
Yeah, that was really good. But I'm curious how to see it in a movie, like to see how they do that, because he's so over the top, crazy and weird, and talking to the audience and all that. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they do that.
It's also going to be interesting to see what happens to the DCEU after the Suicide Squad. Because one of the things I noticed, you were mentioning before about how there are a lot of comic book movies that tread different genres. Most of those movies are in the MCU. You get lots of very different types of films, really. They are Marvel movies, but they're all kind of occupying different genres. And it looks like they're going to do that even more moving forward. I do wonder with DC, is that what they're going to be doing? You've got this kind of wacky, kind of R-rated, gory action fest movie in the Suicide Squad. And then you've got the Batman coming out, which does look like a more kind of serious neo-noir thriller, kind of detective movie type thing, which I love the sound of. You got Joker 2, which is like a drama, kind of period drama type movie. I wonder whether they're really going to lean into that and really start doing very different movies, and maybe even do like a proper horror comic book movie. I don't think Doctor Strange 2 is going to be that. I think Doctor Strange 2 is going to be horror themed. That's the thing. It's like that these Marvel films tend to be more kind of horror, like kind of have touches of genres in it, but they kind of are really just Marvel movies first and foremost. Whereas I think I would like to see DC take more of a kind of filmic approach in a weird way to it, and be like, we're gonna do genre movies. That's what we want to do. So we'll start and really experiment. And then the other question I have for you is, after having seen this movie, actually it's a two-parter. Do you think James Gunn is going to make a Suicide Squad 2, or do you think? And if not, which DC property would you like him to do?
Oh
Because
boy.
it sounds as if he's doing something next. We don't know what it is, but
I think he might do a Suicide Squad 2, and I
yeah.
think he might do something else because they're letting him work freely and do what he wants. And freedom and money is what you want, you know? Like, wait, you're going to give me this money to do this project, and he likes the content. He likes DC, you know, so that's good. So he's got to have a love for the content. He does. Don't say content, Clint. And then and they're giving him money, and he's, you know, if this thing does well, they're going to let him do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? Like if the numbers are right, and so I think I don't know what property he would do next, but I tell you what, I bet you he would do. I bet you he would make another one just for the bucks. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let's see what this thing does after the pandemic's over. You know what I mean? Maybe or whatever, and makes another one for that. But I bet you he might try and do something that isn't so over the top because he's already done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he gets to go buck wild. He might try and do a different kind of movie. So I don't know.
I agree with you. I think he's definitely going to do the Suicide Squad 2. I think this film already has been actually a really big success. Like the people are actually going to the cinemas to see it. It's coming out on HBO Max. I think it's probably already out now.
It's already out.
Is it already out?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think it seems as though the numbers are going to be pretty high for it. I think he's already. So basically, what I was talking about before is Walter Hamada. Hamada's come into this discussion with this Hamada Burgers. He actually said in an interview with the Hollywood Reporter that Gunn is always welcome back, whatever he wants to do. He really has a vision, and he's a great partner with us. Whenever he wants to come back, we're ready for him. He'll be back. We have more stuff planned. So he kind of goes all over the place in that quote, but he ends up by saying he's going to come back. We have stuff planned. So I'm pretty sure they have Suicide Squad 2 planned. And I also think he's going to do, because he's doing Peacemaker. So that series is coming out to HBO Max some point in the future. I'm not sure when. But I think he's also going to do another spin-off series. And then I think he'll probably do another movie. And he actually said people won't be able to guess which property I'll do next. So I think he's going to do something very obscure, DC wise, which I'm all for. You know, I think that would be really fun. And he's also doing Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which apparently he's rewriting the script to right now. So the guy's super busy. he's gone from not having a job after having been sacked from Marvel to having too many jobs, really. It's like...
Yep. Make hay while the sun's shining. That's what my dad always said.
Exactly. And Dan Zig says, isn't it premature to give him another film without seeing how the film performs at the box office? 30 to 40 million opening weekend. Warner Brothers are notorious for being reactionary. Now, yes, but I mean, it is a bit premature to do that before we have the actual numbers. The thing is in this, to be honest, this current world we live in at the moment, numbers really don't mean much at the moment. I think what they're looking at more is the critics' reaction to a movie and the overall fan reaction, and that's all been pretty positive. That's been actually very positive. So I'm pretty sure they'll want to have him stick around. And imagine if you get another James Gunn movie, DC movie after the pandemic, when people are freely going to cinemas and stuff, that'll do very well. And I think a lot of people want to see that.
Not to mention they'll be able to go back and look at the analytics and see how many households streamed it, how many times people they'll say, look, there's houses that watch this 4 times. Like, people love this movie. You know what I mean? They can see all that stuff. So that's going to be interesting. Also, you know, they look at things that are trending. It's a whole new game now with the streaming. And they can't really hold those box office numbers over them because they sabotage the performance in the theater, you know? And
they split it in 2.
You got a Delta variant that's causing places to start at least here, like it's there's a big flare up in cases of I don't know if we're allowed to say the words on YouTube or not. Like, with the I call it the apocalypse. But yeah, there's a new version of the apocalypse that's getting a lot of people, and so now people are scared to go to the theaters again. All of a sudden, people were just getting used to it. They're like, yeah, we're back, and then all of a sudden, oh, let's everybody. And now I'm starting to see masks everywhere I go again, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and here where I live, nobody's been wearing masks. Like we haven't needed to. Everybody gets vaccinated, and then you're good. But anyway, I'm starting to see that a lot, and I think that affects a lot too. So definitely look at the numbers, HBO, and make a decision.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty sure they'll say yes. And then some Multiverse Productions in the chat says James should do a Secret Six movie. That would be interesting, actually. Let's go through the chat actually just to say hello to everyone. Hello to Satosh. This is the first time you've joined. Hello, I hope you're doing well. Esteban, you've already commented quite a lot. Just want to say hello to you. And then he said, Warner Brothers being premature is their nature. They will buy goodwill with directors, and whatever gets decent traction, they will greenlight. I wonder how many 100 to 200 million dollars without getting box office money. I think what you're trying to say is they want to buy directors, which at the moment they need because directors are leaving. But it's, did I say hello to, because it's in the chat, hello to Reese 75. Hello there. I hope you're doing well, Reese. James isn't here, so we don't. This is actually really weird. It's really weird being able to talk without having the interjections. I'll
just start interrupting you.
Yeah. But what I here you go. You're doing it already. What I wanted, and then Raj says, Air Cut is coming. The Suicide Squad cast and crew wouldn't have answered the Variety reporters' questions on the release of the Air Cut without AT&T and Warner Brothers approving. So this brings me on to our next subject, which is the Air Cut. So, did you see John Cena at the? It was John Cena. Actually, I think all of them: Margot Robbie, John Cena. What's the other guy's name? Joel Kinnaman. They were all asked about the Air Cut and whether they thought that it should be released or not. They pretty much all said yes. They actually did all say yes. Like John Cena was like, "Why the hell not?" Like, and it's something that even the actors now are just, once actors start getting involved as well, and actually saying things like this, it's going to be hard for Warner Brothers to ignore.
The other thing too is he confirmed the other day with those letters that it does exist. It's not a rumor. It's real. And so if you have something that's real, it's like me having a finished YouTube video that I could put on my channel. But should I put it up or not? It's like, dude, the work's already done. If it's
exactly,
long, and if maybe there's a couple of rough edges and they only have to spend a little bit of money, that's worth the subscriptions and the ratings. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I think they'll do it. I've thought this whole time that they would do it if it's real and almost done like they say it is. They'll do it. They're not. It's free content. It's free. It's like, how many subscribers they could get? Like, why wouldn't you do that? Like, why? There's no reason. Like,
yeah. I agree with you. I just want to highlight a comment. So Axel Vanderdonk, who was one of my best men at my wedding, says, very curious about Suicide Squad. We'll definitely watch it. And then he asks, any decent laughs? Is it R-rated actually? So I think you need to answer that question, Clint. Any decent laughs in the movie?
Yeah,
it is R-rated, by the way, Axel.
Yeah, there's some decent laughs. I saw it by myself, and I wish I'd have seen it. I wish I'd have gone with a friend, because movies like that are always more fun when you're with a friend.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? But yeah, there's some laughs, and some of the stuff is just like gross, and you're laughing at how gross or how graphic something, when when you see those movies, like there was an old Punisher movie where he shoots a rocket launcher or something and blows some guy up in the air, and it's so hilarious at how graphically gross it is that he does that. And things like that make you. There's a lot of that where you're just like, holy crap, what just happened? So yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. And
It's
then
fun.
back to David A. Kazak says Margot Robbie, he calls it, came out with the most political, nerve-inducing response. Though I didn't actually, I don't have the response here with me at the moment, but hers was the more kind of politically correct. Let's say she kind of kept herself on both teams' side. Let's say she didn't really pick a side, but it was more John Cena and Joel Kinnaman that were really very much like, yes, release it. They have to release it. Like I think John Cena said basically what you said. He said, if there's call for it, if people want to see it, it's like use that old Ann Sarnoff phrase. It's a win-win situation.
Yeah,
which it really is. It really would be stupid of them not to release it.
Yeah, and he also said just give the fans what they want. You know what I mean? Like why would you do that?
Give the fans what they want. Yeah. And then Axel says, "Oh, nice, love me some gratuitous violence." And I think there's a lot of it, especially involving King Shark, isn't there? There's a lot of violence involving King Shark. Yeah. So and voiced by Sylvester Stallone, which is very fun. I'm really excited to see that. The one problem I have is I'm in Italy at the moment, and in Italy they do not show movies in the original language. They should all show them dubbed. And my Italian is not good enough to watch it without subtitles. And I just really don't want to watch it in Italian. So I'm going to have to probably wait a while. It's a bit annoying.
How long are you going to be in Italy?
Quite some time, I think, until mid-September. Yeah, so this is going to be interesting.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
It's all right. It's all right.
Are you on the Amalfi Coast right now?
Right down south. So that's not the Amalfi Coast. It's we're right down. So in a place that not many people tend to go. Okay. Right. So yes, I've kind of lost my way now. Kazak said Edward went to Italy to get that Euro Cup. Yeah, because England lost to Italy. Yeah, no, I haven't found it yet. I did go to Rome, but it wasn't there. Oh, and then Raj says, "Oh God, I'm missing the European Union already." Oh, this has gone in a completely different direction. Esteban said a lot of slightly negative things about the Suicide Squad. He said the Suicide Squad was okay, but I watched Dora the Explorer the other day with my kid, and the humor was similar. I don't know. I mean, I haven't watched it. Only you can answer that, Clint. Was it like watching Dora the Explorer?
I don't watch Dora the Explorer. It's not really. I only watch our films.
Right. Well, that is that answers that question.
It's definitely stupid young. But I have a 13-year-old inside of me. I'm still in my brain. I'm still a 13-year-old, and it doesn't take much for the dick and fart jokes to just start rolling out and get me some laughs. So
exactly,
I'm a simpleton.
What I think we should do is we should move away from the Suicide Squad and onto, we have other topics discussed. So first off, we'll start with What If. So this is the series that is coming, this animated series is coming to Disney Plus pretty soon. And the creator of the series revealed that originally they wanted to get a Luke Skywalker cameo in What If, but they were told by Marvel that no, there are rules, and that is against the rules. But would you have liked to have seen Luke Skywalker turn up in What If?
I would like to see Luke Skywalker turn up anywhere. Like Luke Skywalker's awesome. As long as I can remember, I've loved Star Wars. So yes, I would love to see that. They just released some or showed some new Luke Skywalker hot toys too of him killing those androids and stuff from the Mandalorian. So that's pretty cool too. Any Star Wars fans out there? But yeah, I would love to see that. I think it would be cool. That I actually had this conversation with somebody the other day, but I said, yeah, can you imagine? And then they start introducing Pixar characters or different weird stuff into that. That would be a lot of fun. I mean, that's the whole
something
point.
They could definitely do. That's the thing, because it's all Disney, so they own these characters. So it was AC Bradley who said this. She said this in an interview with Collider. She said, "I was kind of notorious for trying to get a Star Wars character involved, We did try at one point, but it's kind of like play with the sandbox you were given. We gave you the entire MCU, run with that. And I was like, okay, but still Luke Skywalker would be an amazing Avenger. And you know what? He so would. It would be an incredible Avenger.
There's some really cool fan films that I've seen that what are they called? Give me a second. I'll remember the name of the film, or the people that made it. But anyway, yeah, they're really cool where it's Batman going in to rescue Superman, who's been captured by Darth Vader, and they're actually pretty they're actually pretty well made. And you see Batman go in and fight his way in, and then end up getting into a fight with Darth Vader, and it's awesome. It's one of the cool. I'll send you a link to it at some point. But yeah, it's one of the coolest things. So just seeing these favorite characters do their thing is awesome, you know. And any genre. That's another thing with James Gunn that I heard the other day. Not to go back to Suicide Squad, but James Gunn. I read something that he said that he's mentioned it to both Marvel and DC about the idea of doing DC Marvel crossovers, since he's got a relationship with both studios. And he said, and from what I understand, he's actually mentioned it to them. And they're like, yeah, that would be cool. So if you can get through you could get through all the lawyers, I'm sure there's a lot of legal stuff to get settled to do that. But if they can make that work, that would be super awesome too.
That would be so cool. Like, talking of Marvel DC crossovers, I suppose that brings us nicely on. Good segue, Clint, onto Dwayne Johnson, and apparently he did discuss a few ideas with Marvel. So this was actually revealed by Hiram Garcia, who's the producer on Black Adam. He was talking to Collider. And he said that DJ and Kevin have a great relationship, and we flirted around a few ideas before, but nothing serious. There's a mutual admiration for what we each have been doing, and what Kevin has built over there is truly incredible. Ultimately, for us, though, we've always been very committed to what we wanted to build with Black Adam. Black Adam was the character we wanted to bring to life, and who we felt DJ was destined to play. Once we set our sights on this character over a decade ago, it was hard to imagine DJ playing anyone else. So DJ, playing anyone else. So who do you think they were talking about when they were having a few ideas with Kevin Feige? Who would you like to see Dwayne Johnson play in the MCU?
Gosh, I have no idea. Like, I mean, that dude, he's one of the human beings on this planet that already looks like he's come off the pages. You know what I mean? He's exactly. A superhero. So I mean, God, I don't even know, man. I couldn't even tell you who I'd want. I have a tendency to go back and think about other superheroes that are already in movies.
Well, I think
definitely not Captain Britain.
Exactly. No. And that's it. Agents Captoad, says Kazakhs. For something that people like to call it Captoad Britain. I don't know why. But yeah, a lot of people coming up with names here. So Namor is one, which that's one that would have been brilliant. Zeus is another one. Zeus would have been really good. Hercules is one that came up a lot, and of course he did actually play Hercules in a really terrible movie. But he's someone that could have really. He would have fit quite a few characters, but to be honest, he just would have been too expensive.
Namor is the best one I've heard so far.
Namor would have been really good, but I just think, and once you kind of hear about him doing Black Adam, you can't really think of him doing anyone else. Like, Black Adam is just perfect. And actually, Danzig says The Thing. That would have been an interesting one. That would have been quite a good one, actually. You wouldn't have to put any makeup on him whatsoever. But the thing is, he's just so perfect for Black Adam. You can't think of anyone else playing Black Adam but Dwayne Johnson. And it seems as though that is moving along nicely. And there you heard the producer himself saying he was born to play the role, which he really was. There's no one else. And talking of Dwayne Johnson, he also revealed that Hobbs and Shaw 2 is an active development. So what do you think of that?
I already knew it. I knew it was going to happen. Before, last time when we were talking about if he'd ever do a Fast and Furious, I'm like, nope, but he'll do a Hobbs and Shaw because he's a producer. He's on it. So that's money in your pocket. I'm sure he had a great time with Jason Statham. That movie, the first Hobbs and Shaw, was super fun. I don't know. Did you see it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
loved
first
it.
Hobbs
I
and
thought it was
Shaw.
great.
I mean, I think we had a discussion about this on the only bit. Like, I really liked the movie. The only bit that kind of took me out of it was the sunrise bit, the sunset bit. And I remember talking about that on this show. I was like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
why is it suddenly night? But I think that movie was far better than like the last three, or maybe the last three Fast and Furious films. And I could really see that one going somewhere. And this Fast franchise, I think he's completely right to get off it now, because
Yeah.
if anything, Fast 9, I haven't seen it yet. I will watch it, but I haven't heard from the critics that I do genuinely trust, especially with this, as far as this franchise is concerned. I think it sounds terrible. I didn't like the last two Fast and Furious movies. I thought they were really bad. Apart from was it the last one where they did? Was that the last Paul Walker film? Or was it the one before?
I think
can't
that was
remember.
6. I think 6 was the last Paul Walker film. I think
Was
7.
it? 'Cause
7. I think if I remember right, I think 7. They had a weird like appearance of him or
CGI
something.
face
Yeah.
with his brother. Yeah, the thing is that was the one that I think was the last one where I thought, okay, this one is kind of, I can kind of go along with. But then after that, I think 8 was just dreadful. That 8 was the one with Charlize Theron, wasn't it, where she was the villain? And they all roll into one. And the only reason why I watched them was because of Dwayne Johnson. So a Fast and Furious movie without him, I was just kind of like, nah. So this one I still haven't seen yet. But the Hobbs and Shaw film, I think that there's really something interesting. The dynamic between him and Jason Statham really works. And I really like to watch them together in this. The first film is so good. So the second one, bring it on. Get more Ryan Reynolds in it as well. It looks like those two want to work together all the time. So I like it. I like this news.
I've got 2 things to say. I'm going to write one of them down so I don't forget it. If you're going to watch this movie, which you need to go see it. You need to see F9. When you do, have you ever seen Crank with Jason Statham?
Yes, the first. Yeah. I've seen Crank. Yeah.
It's stupid and ridiculous, but it's awesome, right? That's the deal. It's like it's a completely ridiculous concept. Well, there's some things that happen in Fast and Furious 9 that are completely over the top and ridiculous. Their method of I don't want to spoil it for you, but yeah, the things that they use, the science that they use to do things in this movie is ridiculous. If you can just accept that it's kind of like Crank, which is just a stupid thing, enjoy it. Enjoy the stunts, the flips, the dodge it, the jumping from one car to another, all the dumb stuff, the being in space it's a movie, man. Just enjoy it. It's hilarious.
Okay.
It's hilarious to see Ludacris in a car in space. It's stupid. They know that. You know what I mean? We all know it. So it's go ahead. Okay, I'm back. I'm done. No,
but you are right. Of course, there is like Crank is that. It's just a stupid movie. Crank 2 is brilliant, by the way. High Voltage is just fantastic. But the difference I'd say between Crank and the Fast and Furious films without Dwayne Johnson is that the Fast and Furious movies have literally no charisma. There is no charisma there. I'm sorry, but Vin Diesel has zero charisma. Ludacris, meh. Tyrone Gibson or whatever his name is. Tyrese Gibson.
Those two are good. Tyrese Gibson and Ludacris are bouncing off each other in this movie, and they're hilarious. It's like watching a bunch of your friends talk smack to each other and have fun, and they tease each other, and it's funny. I was laughing. Some of it I'm like, it's stupid, you know. You walk into a whole bunch of gunfire, and then you know those things they do little things like that too in 007. They kind of have quirky humor to where say there was a whole bunch of shooting and the guy's like, oh, freezes, and then when it all stops, he's like, how did I not get shot? And it's like completely ridiculous that the guy didn't get shot.
Yeah.
But it's funny and it's an audience pleaser. You know what I mean? There's things like that, like
I'll watch it. I will watch it. I think I've got it on my laptop actually. So I will watch it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's stupid, but it's fun. It's a fun movie. You got to be in the right mood for it, I guess. And the other thing I was going to say is one time I was bartending, and I had a guy who claimed he was a producer on the Fast and the Furious, the one, and he told me that he was ordering margaritas without tequila and substituting vodka for Grey Goose, which was interesting. But if you're a drinker, but anyway, yeah. And he told me about them using Paul Walker's brother as a body double on a lot of stuff and all that. And I thought that was pretty cool. And then he told me, and I was like, producer, huh? That's cool. How did you get into that? And he goes, well, you got to be able to come up with money. He's like, I'm going to tell you a little secret. I go, okay. He's like, if you ever want to raise money for a movie, he's like, dentists. I was like, huh? Dentists. He's like, dentists have all the money in the world, at least in the United States. He's like, dentists make so much money and they don't get any of the glory that like a surgeon gets all the prestige of being a surgeon but a dentist is loaded and everybody just takes them for granted. And so if you're a dentist and you have all this money, there's nothing better than getting to take your wife on the red carpet because you help finance this movie. Take your wife on the red carpet and being a VIP who I produced Fast and Furious, and so that's any filmmakers out there need to get some financing, hit up some dentists and let them know that they get their red carpet status. They get to look like a big shot.
This is the reaction to that story. Kazak's just laughing. And then Danzig's just like, what?
Yeah,
dentists? Really?
Yeah, I thought
they're the lifeblood of Hollywood. It's dentists.
Yeah, and they get to look like big shots that's the only glory they get. Other than that,
I can tell you that no movies are financed by British dentists. I can tell you that for free. But yeah, fair enough. It either is true or some drunk guy was just telling you bullshit and being like, I'm a Fast and Furious producer. And, you know when you need to make a movie, you need dentists.
No, the guy was legit. He told me he kind of told me I got him drunk, and he kind of told me some stuff about the movie before it was out and stuff. So that
cool.
And when I went and saw the movie, I was like,
get some exclusives for small screen. Totally. And then Kazak says, talking about dentists, is Sweet Tooth any good? Yeah, I like it. I like Sweet Tooth. I think that's the one thing you didn't like.
It was okay. It was kind of over. Like, there's a cute little boy, with some branches glued to his head. It was okay. But I felt like the story could have been a little more, had a little more drama. Just a little more drama.
This is the thing. I really liked this show. I really, really liked Sweet Tooth, and maybe it was just like the mood I was in at the time watching it. It just kind of hit home for me. And I think the lead actor, Christian, forgetting his last name, but he is brilliant in it. Like really, really good. I just think it's a good show, and I'm happy it's getting a season 2. Sorry, you go ahead, Clinton.
Oh, I was going to say the acting was great. It was really good acting. I just wanted some twists and turns a little more in the story.
Yeah. It's I mean, if you've read the comic, the graphic novel is super dark. Mm-hmm. So what they did to it is they really changed the tone entirely, actually. Like, and also the look of the way it looks is completely different. And Raj, I haven't lost credibility. I just liked it. All right. That's all. You can like what you want, and I'm honest, and I liked it. I also, maybe the fact that the actor tweeted out our review of it and was very nice about us, maybe that swayed me a bit. That
might have something to do with it.
No, I really, really did like it. And I think this is the thing. Danzig said, I like Sweet Tooth, wash the taste out of my mouth of that Jupiter's Legacy of bad wigs left. And maybe that was the thing for me as well, because the show I had watched before that was Jupiter's Legacy, which was just awful. And Esteban says Sweet Tooth was pretty good. And I think I'd give it a solid 7 out of 10. Now, the reviewer, Athena, who reviewed it on Small Screen, really, really loved it. And, she backs up her reasons brilliantly in her written reviews. So if you want to read those, please do. And as I said before, the actors quite like those reviews. They're very positive. But, there's nothing bad in being positive. As everyone says, Clint likes everything. And there's nothing bad about that. He doesn't like Sweet Tooth.
You know what I'm excited about is why the
Last Man.
Yeah, Why the Last Man is
good.
Yeah, that's September 13th that comes out. That's going to be fantastic, I think.
I think that's going to be really good.
It's on FX too, so that's a good sign too.
And I think we should move away from Sweet. Actually, talking of Netflix shows, Stranger Things season 4 got a trailer. So I won't call it a trailer; it's a teaser, really. And in it, you got to see Eleven with hair and Jim Hopper with a flamethrower and all that good stuff, and some new characters as well. Some really odd hairstyles, I'm going to be honest. But they basically announced in the teaser that it's coming out in 2022. So we're going to have to wait probably a couple of months. I'm pretty sure it's going to come out first quarter of 2022. I think latest it could come out would be April. But are you a Stranger Things fan? Are you excited for this?
I like Stranger Things. You know what? You're going to say not that much, but when I tell you that I haven't finished season 3, somehow I fell off and I never went back. But I loved the first 2 seasons. I liked the first season the best, but I think it's going to be good. I'm excited, and seeing that trailer, I was like, "Holy smokes! I got to go finish watching season 3 just so I can
Season 3 is really good.
Yeah.
Esteban asks, "Is this the last season?" And then Danzig says, "This has got to be the last season, right?" I don't think it will be, but go on. Say what you're going to say, Clint.
Oh, I was going to say one of a really good friend of mine told me that I was a moron for not finishing. It was like, dude, that's my favorite. That was his favorite. That was his favorite season out of all of them. It looks expensive. Like, it looks like they put a lot of money into this season comparatively. I would say that they would do several more seasons if people keep watching.
I think they're going to do at least one more. I think one of the issues they might have is keeping Millie Bobby Brown. Because she is in super high demand, and also David Harbour is as well. The main core, like Finn Wolfhard, is getting quite well known as well. He's in a lot of stuff, and Galen can never pronounce his last name. But the young kids are starting to get quite well known. But I think the issue might be keeping Millie and David Harbour for more than 2 seasons. I think. The idea, I think, is to have one last season, so season 5, then that be the final season, and they'll really sell it as being the final season. So they'll make sure that a lot of people will come and watch it. I think if this were to be the last season, we would know, because it's the biggest. Even though it's not technically the biggest Netflix show, this season could be the one to break all the records. And if it does that, then they definitely will have a season 5. And I think like everyone that's involved in it, like Sean Levy, the Duffer Brothers, the ones that created it, have a plan. And I did think they said somewhere that it was a 5-season arc they had planned at the beginning. So I would like to see a 5th season. This next one, I think, is going to be really good. They've been doing it for a long time.
They could, even after they end the show, they could come out with a smaller or a Stranger Things movies, every couple of years,
exactly,
and they could have a spin-off show. There's so many things they can do with that. I'm just ready for my Millie Bobby Brown Princess Leia movie and my Red Guardian movie, I think would be good.
And I'm also pretty sure Millie Bobby Brown is going to be joining the MCU at some point. I think that is a given. And she's going to have a massive career. She was already in the Godzilla films, which are a bit meh. I think, honestly, you might hate me for saying that, but she didn't need to be in this movie. She didn't need to be in those movies at all.
That was just
was completely pointless.
Yeah, you could have edited her out, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
The first one. First one,
Go
no,
on.
but the second one, yeah, absolutely. You
Yeah.
didn't need her in the
The
second
second one, she didn't
No.
didn't need to be in that film. That whole story arc was completely useless. I was
Yeah.
like, by the end of it, I was like, you could have got rid of them. What was the point? Oh god, that was so dumb. Right, here you go. Do you think they may change the release strategy? Weekly releases, perhaps. Well, I know for a fact that Netflix they're thinking of doing this, and I'm pretty sure they will do it at some point. Now, whether or not they'll start it with Stranger Things, I don't think they will. I think they'll release that all at once. But I think in 2022, the end to 2023, you'll start seeing them release episodes weekly because it just makes so much sense for their shows. They've seen this with Disney Plus. They've seen it with Amazon. Like, I think The Boys is the perfect example. The Boys season 2, the numbers on that show were through the roof compared to the first season. And the only difference they apart from season 2 just being brilliant, the only real difference was the release strategy. They released it weekly, and it meant people were watching it, every episode weekly. And then like the Marvel shows have proven this as well, The Mandalorian as well. People love weekly television. I'm actually a fan of it. And I think Netflix should do it. Netflix kind of changed the model to begin with. They were one of the first. I think they probably were the first to just release everything at once, and that's great if you have to binge things. But the problem is then you're left with too much stuff to watch. So watching things weekly, I think is a decent way to go, and I think it just makes sense as a release strategy. It just makes so much sense for Netflix.
One thing I don't like is with weekly, you get a bunch of complainers complain. Oh, that episode sucked. When you binge watch something, it takes you for a ride, and it's a slow episode, but you keep watching, and the next one is crazy. But then they're like, yeah, that was just a waste. That was a waste of film. They shouldn't even aired that one. They could have just cut that one out of the season. Shut your mouths, crybabies.
But I actually think that's actually not a bad critique to have, especially with Netflix shows, because Netflix shows, they really do have filler episodes. Like, some episodes really, really do have nothing that's happening. The thing that they do, and I think they do it better than anyone else, is by the end of each episode, they always make sure to put in a cliffhanger so that you'll keep on watching, and they're very good at that. So who knows?
Yeah, it's weird, and it's got to affect the filmmaking style. Where hey,
it definitely does. Yeah,
if it's going to be a binge, like a binge watch thing, you'll write your story a certain way. But if you're like, no, we have to do this thing so that next week people will come back, or people won't be mad, and or what trend or whatever. Craziness.
And I'm just excited for season 4. I think I love this show, and. Dan says, "Amen, Ed," to me saying that Millie Bobby Brown didn't need to be in that movie at all. Esteban said, "I wouldn't have minded more Millie and less two chubby guys." We're bashing on Godzilla versus Kong now. Right, let's move on from that.
They really could have just taken out all of it except for the fight scenes with the big guys. And then that would have been all you need. Can we just see that? And then
you don't need the human characters at all.
Just take all humans out of the movie. Just no human. In fact, they should make a Godzilla movie that's post-apocalypse, after humans are extinct, and it's just all the creatures fighting. That would be fun. Kaiju.
And Dan has just reminded me to say, smash that like button. Yes, please smash that like button and subscribe. That'd be wonderful if you could do that. Yes. Right. Let's talk a bit about Venom 2, or Let There Be Carnage. Did you see the trailer?
The first one.
There's been a new one.
Yeah, it looks,
and it reveals a lot more of Carnage.
Yeah, it looks wild. I only saw a little. I was in the middle of something, and I opened my phone, and then I started watching. I was like, "Holy crap!" And I didn't get back to it. I was in a doctor's office waiting room, so it was an eye doctor, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, okay, but from what I understand, it's fantastic. It looks awesome.
Well, I'm going to talk a bit about it then. This movie, looks, and I am so sorry for swearing, but it looks fucking amazing. This film is everything I want. It looks like everything I wanted the first film to be. It looks dark. It looks manic. It looks twisted. I am a massive. I mean, I think the first film was very, very. It was played a bit too much like a Deadpool film, which is fine. I thought that was fine. I do think there are elements of like the kind of slapstick humor, which I personally do like, but I do understand why people find Venom a bit annoying. But I like the interplay between between Eddie Brock and Venom. I think that works. And literally Woody Harrelson playing Venom and playing Carnage in this, he looks incredible. And there's a particular scene in this trailer where you actually see the beginning of Carnage and how he comes to become Carnage. He basically bites Eddie Brock, and from that, like, obviously has some sort of the symbiote kind of, I don't know, like something happens, and then he ends up becoming Carnage. And when Venom sees him as Carnage, he immediately, he makes sure he kind of turns back into Eddie Brock and says, "Oh no, that's a red one," and he's scared. He's obviously like terrified of this version of the symbiote. He knows what it is, and he knows how dangerous it is. And I love that. I love that fact that like they're making Venom. Sorry, they're making Venom quite. What's the word? Quite. I'm forgetting the word now, but he's terrified. He's not terrified, but he's scared of what's in front of him. And I like that. And then basically Eddie Brock says, "I'll let you eat everybody." If and there's that moment. He's like, "You mean it? You really mean it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll let you eat everybody." And he's like, "Okay, fine. Then I'll fight him." I liked it, and I like the fact that this film is directed by Andy Serkis. I love the guy. I think he's brilliant. He's a really good actor, really good director, and I'm just so excited to see it. I think they're giving Venom more depth, which he needed. And he's got a properly good villain to go up against, not just some kind of an average villain that the first film had. Really, that was the main problem I had with the first film. The villain was a bit poor. I think this one's I think it's gonna be just as much Woody Harrelson's movie as Tom Hardy's, which I like. Yeah, they're my thoughts on the trailer.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I can't wait. Like. On the first one, they're testing the waters, see if people are gonna like this character. Of course, everybody likes that character, but the execs they gotta test the waters. We'll see how it does, and then we'll give you another one. And now they're putting a little more depth in it. It's like you get your first try, you're safe, you play it safe, and then once you're successful, you can start getting a little deeper. And I think that's probably what they're doing with this. So that's pretty cool.
And Danzig brings up an interesting point. He says, "No release date in the trailer, though. Could it be pushed back due to the Delta variant?" So the original release date, I think, was the 24th of September.
It is.
And in the new trailer, it said coming this fall. So fall technically starts on the 22nd of September. So it's saying coming this fall is technically right, but I think Dan might have a point. I think they're going to push it. I think they're going to push it into October because of rising cases.
Yeah, they're not going to. I don't think they'll waste it. They're going to waste that. They don't have they don't have a Sony Max or Sony Plus. You know what I mean, to release their thing on. And they keep pushing Morbius back too. Morbius. Yeah.
Yeah, it is Morbius. Yeah, you're thinking of Morbius.
Yeah, that was messing my brain up.
And Reese 75 says, "Is Richard E. Grant excited to see Venom?" I don't know. I watched the trailer. I laughed. I cried. I fist pumped the air. He's excited. I'm pretty sure he's excited. Wouldn't it be great if he was in that movie? That'd be so good. Yes. But you got Andy Serkis directing it, so pretty much you got acting royalty there as well. And Sir Tom Hardy.
Is he going to make an appearance? Sometimes the directors play characters in the movie, and he's awesome. So I'm curious if he's going to be in it.
I don't think he is, unfortunately. I think he very much took this job as being a director, and because he might be doing some. He does a lot. He has his company, doesn't he? That does a lot of CGI work, So like they did a lot the apes on Planet of the Apes movies, and what's it called? What's this thing called? The Imaginarium or something like that. But I think it's going to. I think he's going to be just. He's just directed the film. Really, I don't think he's going to be in it, and I'm really excited to see this. And then apparently people have forgotten about Morbius. Kazak's own man, I forgot about Morbius.
Yeah, everybody.
And, yeah. Prince Zodiac says no Spider-Man will kill it though. Venom is an anti-hero that starts as a villain. And do we overlook the eating people because he saves a cat from a tree? True.
Imaginarium.
You run with it. Yeah, it's Imaginarium, isn't it? It's called. But you got to run with this. He's an anti-hero that eats bad guys. That's what they're doing. And Reese says Circus is probably Carnage before VFX. Probably, maybe he might have done that. But I think he really just took this job because he liked the. He said he liked the character. He wanted to work with Tom Hardy. He liked the idea that he liked the first film actually, apparently. And I think it's just a fun thing for him to do. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him do that. And what I wanted, we're going to end the show on this. I wanted to talk. Now this is a joke, but not really. I wanted to talk about Smelly Jake Gyllenhaal. And if you'd heard anything about this, because Jake Gyllenhaal was trending on Twitter today, and I wanted to know if you knew why.
He doesn't bathe as much as some people would do. I was like,
this is ridiculous. He looks so like clean.
How very European of him.
I know.
I didn't think you would think, living in Paris, I didn't think you would think that was weird. That's the stereotype.
Well, first off, I bathe and shower a lot. Let me just tell you that people have often remarked on how many showers I have. Probably too many. They're very short, I will tell you that. But he said it was an interview with Vanity Fair, and he said, I find bathing to be less necessary. Good manners and bad breath get you nowhere. So I do that. But I do think there's a whole world of not bathing that is really helpful for skin maintenance, and we naturally clean ourselves. Now, yes, I get him saying that I think what he's basically saying is that he doesn't use products. But dude, have a shower every day and wash the essential areas. I hope you bloody well do that.
I think he's saying he doesn't shower every day is what he's saying. And that's I've heard that of many actors. I heard Brad Pitt didn't shower very much. I've heard that
Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis were two that came up recently.
Yeah, dude, I'm having a brain for all right. What's his name?
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey lives here. He lives right up the street from my buddy.
You can smell him.
You can smell him when you drive by. It's like, burp, burp, take a shower. I've heard that he doesn't bathe very often, and we hear all this crap from tabloids or different stories and stuff. Gyllenhaal actually said it, and I think, but I have close friends that are like, I bathe like every other day, every 2 days, and I'm like, you're not lazy. Like I get if you're lazy, you just sat around eating Hot Pockets all day and you're too lazy to get in the shower. I didn't mow the yard or anything. I don't need to shower. I shower every day. I have to because I'm a smelly man. Yeah, there you have it.
Yeah, but that's probably because we shower every day. That's the thing. Yeah. Maybe it's like I will tell you one thing. I haven't washed my hair in probably about 5 years.
Like shampooed your hair?
No, I don't shampoo it. I just put water through it because I'm obsessed with hair loss, and I was told by actually a hairdresser that the worst thing you could do for your hair is to shampoo it every day, which I used to do. So then I stopped, and the first 2 weeks was horrible, but once you get past that, it's completely fine and not dirty at all. It cleans itself after a while. So that I will say that is true, and I've just admitted that on live YouTube.
Oh, that's not
which people
gross.
do think it. People think it's weird. I have been told it's weird, but you know what? If I have a full head of hair when I'm 60 and other people don't because they they wash their hair every day, then that so be it.
Yeah, F them if they have a problem with it. F those guys. Now I'll tell you, I've seen a video. There's an interesting YouTube video. I don't know how to look for it, but about a woman who she quit bathing, and she did an experiment, and she didn't bathe for, I think, for 30 days, and and she said the same thing you said. The first like week was uncomfortable and weird, but she quit bathing completely, and at first it was weird, like not even getting wet. She didn't do anything, and at first she was like, felt like she was smelly, but then after a few days, after like a week, it evened out. She quit smelling, and she stopped smelling. It's like our bodies are dependent on all these things that we've been doing since we were born. But once you let it go, after a couple weeks, you start it's natural, and that your body cleans itself. And
I would imagine that you still. I'd imagine that you still have to do, like, you'd have to wash your clothes and stuff like that, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise you would just because otherwise homeless people wouldn't smell.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
there's an element of, and I'm pretty sure she would have brushed her teeth as well.
Yeah, she brushed her teeth, but it was an interesting video, like, to watch. I was like, is this bullshit? Is this a joke to make people not bathe?
You know what? That's the thing, is it probably isn't. It probably is true. But what I will say that the thing is that it's difficult getting to that point. You're going to stink for pretty much after like day 3. You're going to be very difficult to be around, and after a while it'll probably be okay. But like, I actually enjoy having really cold showers anyway. I have a lot of cold showers. That's what I do, and it really, I just like it, So and I like to feel clean. And this is a very odd discussion that we're having that's been brought on by Jake Gyllenhaal. But you know what? This is what you come here for. These kind of weird, and lots of people have brought out the point of how, like, his costume fitter on Far From Home must have been awful, must have been terrible for him. And there is that whole thing, when he is as Mysterio, he's got all that green like clouds going around him, and people are like, that wasn't CGI, that was like live footage of him in the costume, which I quite liked. But apparently, as well, the reason why this kind of went viral is because it was revealed that Taylor Swift is going to be releasing a 10-minute long version of the song that she wrote about him, which is on her album Red. I think it's called, I can't remember what the song's called. All is well, or something like that. And I'm not a massive Taylor Swift fan. I don't really know much about her, but apparently she's releasing a 10-minute long version of that song, and in that song she does talk about him bathing, or the lack thereof.
Wash it off.
Well, Shake It Off is about him as well.
Wash it off. Wash it off. Hoo hoo hoo. Yeah.
I didn't even know the two dated. I'm that like I really didn't know that.
Wow. I didn't either.
Apparently they did. Before we go, should we go through the comments, because people have said some very funny things. Here we go. Here's Danzig. The poor costume fitter Far From Home. Imagine the stench from Mysterio's costume. I like that. Got too much money to shower, baby. This is true. And then someone says Edward bathes in garlic. I do not. And then the smell was a Mysterio. Anyway, those are the ones I wanted to bring up. There are quite a few here, but yeah. I think someone said something about this. Here we go. The stream smells like Teen Spirit. Well done, Kazax. You had to get that. What were you going to say, Clint, before I rudely interrupted you?
Oh, you didn't rudely interrupt me. I thought it was a James clip that was coming into. I'm just kidding. No, poor James. We miss you, man. Oh, I think I was going to say Alanis Morissette. This is dating myself again, but Alanis Morissette had a song about Dave Coulier, if you remember him. He was one of the guys on Full House. Uncle, yeah. And the one that would say, cut it out, that guy. and which is so weird. That guy is so weird. And she wrote about him in her big hit song, and talks about going down in a theater or something. And I'm like, whoa, this song's about Dave Coulier. That's just weird. I wonder if I'm gonna get the same vibes when I listen to this Taylor Swift song now. If it's
you probably will. A lot of her songs are about exes, and as Taylor wrote a song about an ex, I'm shocked.
It's weird. That's so weird.
It's so weird. It's so weird. What's she going to do when she gets married and know what exes to write about? I mean, that's going to be a tough time, isn't it? You can't talk about how great everything is in your marriage. I
mean, you can, but nobody wants to listen to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. I think that'll about do it for tonight's show. Have you got anything to end on?
Well, we could. I was going to mention earlier about James Gunn talking about Scorsese, talking smack about Scorsese.
Yes, I was going to mention that, but I didn't have the quote, so I kind of skipped over it.
Yeah, well, what he pretty much said was that the only reason Scorsese talked smack about comic book movies is because that's the only way he could get any press for The Irishman. And so and I'm like, that's really funny. He only said that because he wanted to promote the Suicide Squad. It's like, I'm gonna just throw out a F that guy. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out a scandalous quote right before my movie comes out, which is smart business.
But the thing is, he did actually say that he was a massive fan of Martin Scorsese's. Didn't he? He did say that before. So
yeah, he's just trying to get some press for his film, and it's almost meta that he's saying that like that. You know what I mean?
He's always doing this. He's always saying like something outrageous just so that he can get headlines. That's what he wants. He's good at it. He's a good promoter. And Raj says, love the fact that Scorsese doesn't know who James Gunn is.
Yeah, Scorsese does not care. He is not worried about it at all.
It's like a 90-year-old man. He doesn't give a shit. So all these idiots going, why does Scorsese hate Marvel movies? It's because the guy was making movies before comic book movies weren't even made, So, like, he doesn't give a shit. Let's be honest. He does not care. And then we always have these quotes from other movie makers being like, oh, well, he does his own thing. And, Marvel, comic book movies are cinema, blah, 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 blah. Just be like, who cares? Like, who cares? Some old dude doesn't think that comic book movies are cinema.
Yeah, they sure make a lot of money. They're sure attracting a lot of viewers.
Yeah. Oh dear. That whole thing is quite amusing. But yes, thank you for bringing that last bit up. So we have discussed all the topics that we said we were going to discuss. I didn't know if you did really well. Wow.
I think so too, man. We hit all. Yeah. I think we get a on the tomato meter. I think this episode gets a 92. How about that?
Yes, brilliant. And Dan just wanted one last question. Ed, what were your thoughts on ScarJo versus Disney Story? You guys covered that extensively last week, didn't you?
We sure did.
There's a video coming out. We've got a video coming out that's about Disney. And James will be very pissed off that I just teased that. But my thoughts will be in that video. So do watch that video when it comes out. And Kazakh says, it's not some old dude, though. No, it is Martin Scorsese, but he, you know what I mean. You catch my drift, right? It's some guy not some guy. He's a filmmaker that has never really occupied that space and probably has watched probably half a comic book movie. So it doesn't really matter that much.
It's like Clint Eastwood talking smack about Marvel movies. You know what I mean? Clint Eastwood does not care. Yeah. He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody.
Reese asks, did you see that the Batman trailer is going live soon? Ooh, interesting. I didn't see that, but we'll look out for that. Might be something we talk about on next week's show. And then Raj says, don't tell James, but the video worked better without the video memes.
Take that back.
We need James because I can't do this and try and talk to Clint at the same time. I'm terrible at multitasking.
Cool it,
So-
buddy, or you'll get yourself a knuckle sampa. How was that?
Yeah, exactly. It's a knuckle sandwich.
I thought he said sampa.
No, it's knuckle
That's how-
sandwich.
It doesn't sound like sandwich. What kind of weird
It
British
is.
pronunciation of sandwich is that? That's weird.
I thought you were doing so well with your British accent, and then it just
Brilliant.
no.
Absolutely
Oh, well.
brilliant.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
it sounds a bit like my impression of Richard E. Grant.
I've got one for you. Did you see that Kate Beckinsale movie that it came out? What the hell is it called?
Jolt.
Jolt. Did you see it?
Yes. No, I
What
haven't
did-
seen it. Sorry, but I've seen
Yeah.
I've seen the trailer, but I am going to be watching that film pretty soon. And actually, Reese did correct me. He says a knuckle supper, and that's right. It's a knuckle supper, not a knuckle sandwich.
Knuckle supper.
Yeah, there you go. And and then Rash's Clint maybe missed the video memes with the poor British accents. It's part of the show, and it's a shame. Unfortunately, James couldn't be with us tonight. I do believe I'm going to out him. I think he's sleeping. So he'll watch this back. I'll tell him to watch it. What time is it now? Whatever time. 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 37 seconds, and then he'll see the truth come out.
It's easy to do when you're a video editing machine, because you get on a roll. You don't even realize what time it is in your cave in there editing, and then all of a sudden you crash out, and oh well.
And burn for about 24 hours. Right. On that note, we'll end. Where can we find you, Clint?
You can find me. What do I have my? Oh, you can find me at Edward's house.
How the hell did you get in?
I knew the passcode. You can find me on.
There actually is a passcode as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm here. You need to restock your fridge before you leave town next time, though. It's like seriously.
How's my cat?
Your cat's doing great. That's why I came over to feed the cat.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. You can find me on YouTube at Clint Baker Channel. It's youtube.com/Clint Baker Channel. Or if you want to hit me up on Twitter, it's the OG Clint Baker. So that's
Perfect.
me. Yeah.
And you can find me at EJ Lauder, and that's like Estee Lauder, Lauder. And also you can find me at Small Screen Co. everywhere on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And also, like and subscribe. Just like and subscribe. If you could do that, that would really make me happy on my holiday.
Yeah,
that would be wonderful.
In your hollowed out Mount Vesuvius, you're inside Mount Vesuvius in your secret fort. We all know where you are at.
Exactly. Right. Thanks so much, guys, for watching, and we'll see you next week. Cheers and goodbye.